Hello, 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 and thank you for being here. Welcome to this special edition of the Digital Making at Home live stream. I'm Matt and coming to you live from Ohio.
Hi, and I'm Christina coming to you live from Nebraska.
Christina and I are from the Raspberry Pi Foundation, and whether you're here for the first Digital Making at Home live stream or you're joining us again, we are so delighted to have you here with us. This live stream is all about all of us coding together. So before we jump into that, please say hi in the chat and let us know where in the world you're watching us from. We're broadcasting live to YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch right now, and we'll be able to see all of your comments. If you're watching on raspberrypi.org, you can click the title of this video and you'll be able to write comments in the YouTube chat over on YouTube. So for those of you who are new, Digital Making at Home is all about getting young people just like you coding and creating with technology. Every week, we live stream digital projects for you to explore. These can be using technologies like Scratch, HTML, and JavaScript. Today, we'll continue our progress with another brand new Scratch project. We've got thousands of kids coding all over the world, and these are special live shows which are timed for those of you who are North America, though you're welcome to join us no matter where you are on the globe, no matter what time it is. These special sessions are thanks to our partners at Infosys Foundation USA, who have a mission to expand computer science and maker education to students and teachers all over the country. So for the parents and teachers out there, you can access free computing and maker education resources through their Pathfinders Online Institute. There's a link down there. So big shout out and thank you to Infosys Foundation USA for making these special live streams happen. So Christina, what are we going to code today?
All right, so we are going to be doing our Serene Scene project. I'm really excited. This is our third project in our Look After Yourself pathway. And these projects are to help you relax, take a mindful minute. So I'm excited to just create some nature. I miss nature a lot.
Yes.
Since I moved from California. I've been missing just being in the outdoors. So we're going to code some outdoors for us today.
That's awesome. And while we're coding, we invite all of you to code along with us, and we want to hear how it's going. You can use the chat box, and I'll be keeping an eye on it throughout tonight's stream. And by the way, I see a lot of you have said hello already on YouTube and Facebook. We see Alex and Elliot is here, Kevin, Matthew, Larry, Hussein, Gerardo, Elias, Fred, Anna, Prism is back from Foster City, California. Brett Gaiola, I'm not sure I said that right, but welcome. It's so glad to have all of you here joining us, and a lot of familiar names as well. People from Britain and Peru, Canada. Wow, that is so awesome. Thank you all for being here, and keep saying hi in the chat. Let us know how the coding is going. So Christina, should we get started then?
Yes, let's get started. We're going to share my screen. So let's pull that up.
There we go.
Awesome. So we are going to start with the Serene Scene project, and this is the starter project. So if you are already like on the Serene Scene page, we have a starter project. And Matt, if you can put up the short link so folks can start with us. This is going to take you to the same page that I'm on, which is a Scratch page that already has some populated sprites and the backdrop. And this is great. I love when we have a starter project because we can jump right into the coding. So if you're new to Scratch, a quick overview. Scratch is a program with block-based programming language. So that means we're going to be using these blocks here over on the left with different categories, motion, looks, and these blocks, we're going to connect them together to run a program. So for example, we love to do this at the beginning of our streams, always just showing an example. So I'm going to have, when the green flag is clicked, I'm going to have my tree say hello. And I think I saw Alex on the list. So we're going to say hello to Alex.
Great idea.
So this is and also a great test to make sure that my Scratch is working. Let's see. Okay, great. Oh, did it? Okay. Woo, big moment.
And that's to both Alexes in the chat.
Yes, it is. So, okay, we know that Scratch is working. This is great, and we can get started. So you saw I'm coding for my tree right now. So the first thing in our Serene Scene that we're going to be doing with our project is we are going to change the size of our tree. So over the course of this session, we're going to change the size of our tree with variables. We're going to change the colors of our flowers, the brightness, and add some sound. And we're going to be using variables today, which is a really neat way to really personalize a project. So to get started, let's go ahead. We are going to grab a couple of blocks. First, an events block and a forever loop. And then a size block. Because I mentioned we're going to change the size of our tree. And if you've coded with me before, I love to just pull all my blocks into the coding area and then connect them all. So I'm going to do set size. Here we go. Now, if you have any questions or suggestions for the project, please put them in the comments. Matt is monitoring those, so he can let me know what ideas that you have for this coding project.
And I got to say hi to Claire and George and Jim and Infosys Foundation USA who are watching. Hey, it's great to have you coding along with us tonight.
Yes, thanks for joining us. All right. Now, I remember I mentioned we were going to be using variables. So we get to make a variable today. So let's go down to the second from the bottom, that category, variables. And I'm going to make a variable. And in this case, I'm going to call it tree. Now, you can name it anything you want. As someone who personally likes to get creative, I do recommend naming it something that's practical because you can lose sight of all of your variables. So we're going to name this tree. And what's neat is now that I have a variable, two things have happened. One, we now have a bunch of blocks that Scratch has automatically made for us. Then we also have this icon here for the tree, and we'll get to that in a second. Let's go ahead and grab our tree variable. And now let's start connecting our blocks. So I'm going to go ahead and put in our forever loop, our size block. And then here, if you've used a look block before, you usually you might change this number. What we're going to do instead is we're going to put this variable block in that space. So now, if you are learning about variables, and the variable represents a number, right? And you may not be sure what that number is. So in this case, our tree number is going to be what we're going to choose using this icon. And so to do that, I'm going to change this icon. I'm going to right click it and change it to a slider. And I'm going to double check what the numbers are. So I'm going to check the slider range by right clicking again. I've got it from 0 to 100. That works for me. So now, moment of truth, we're going to run this and see what happens. So my program is going to run because I'm going to click, because I set it up that it is going to run when I click the green flag. So let's go ahead and click it. Okay. The tree has disappeared, but we don't have to worry because hopefully we don't have to worry because the tree is at 0. My variable is 0. So that hopefully this is what's happening. And now let's slide it and see if I increase this. Okay, it works.
You got a growing tree.
We've got a growing tree. Okay.
That's really cool that you can add those sliders to the variables right in there.
I like that a lot. And it's a really neat way as a young person or an adult is progressing with coding, especially with Scratch, to start making your Scratch project a little bit more interactive, right? To have that input of using the slider. So, okay, we got our tree. That's a win. We did it. We did it, folks. Okay, next thing we're going to do, I mentioned, is we're going to do something similar. Now we're going to move to the flower sprites. So unlike in the past, we've got this project, we have multiple sprites. So this is a really important thing to notice here is I'm going to switch to the sprite, to a new sprite that I'm going to work on. I'm going to work on the flowers. So you'll see my mouse here at the bottom towards the sprite area. I'm going to click on flowers. Now the code that we just coded has disappeared. That's okay, because I'm going to click on the tree again. It's still there.
It's still there. Okay.
And I want to highlight this because this is the most common thing I see with kids and adults. Christina, my code's gone. It's not gone. It's just with the sprite that we coded it with. So now we are going to code our flowers. And we're going to pull some similar blocks. I'm going to want to change the colors of flowers. So if you're coding along, try and see if you can choose what those blocks are. And I'm going to also grab them now. See if you can do it by yourself. And it's a lot of, what's neat about this project is a lot of repetition, which helps you to get familiar with how to use variables.
While you're doing that, on YouTube, Prism, PRSM, who's been with us before, is asking, how do you change from 0 to 100? How do you change that?
Okay, so Prism, let's go back to the tree sprite. So here I am changing it by sliding the slider here. And I got that. If right now you're just seeing a tree and 0, I got that by right clicking and choosing slider. And you can change the range. So you can also change slide range. So let's do that's a really good question. I'm going to do the flowers now, and then you'll see me do the same thing again.
Great.
And that might help as well. So let's go ahead. I'm going to grab the control ball. I'm going to pull the forever loop. We're on a spaceship. And I said colors. Let's go ahead. We're going to change the color. All right. I'm going to grab this block here. Now I need to do one more thing. I need to actually make my variable. So I'm going to go to variables, make, and we're going to call this one flowers. Okay. And then let's go ahead and connect them together and pull over flowers. All right. Now, this is for Prism. This might help answer your question. So right now I have it says flowers 0. To get it to a slider where I can change the variable, I'm going to go ahead and right click on flowers and then change to slider. So that's how I got the slider. And then what I'm going to change the slider range, and it automatically puts 0 to 100. I'm going to change this to -100. You'll see why in a second because it looks really cool.
Okay.
All right. So let's run it. Okay, flowers. Yay! Okay, so we've got our
colors, right?
Yeah, we've got a range of our flowers and how they're changing. I love this so much. I'm having my tree a little smaller. Oh, it's feeling good. It's feeling like a serene scene. Now, when you have a relaxing space, you may want to change the lighting. So let's change the lighting on our project.
Okay.
So to do that, that's going to have to do with our backdrop. So I'm going to click over here in my bottom right. I'm going to click on the stage. This is now going to highlight backdrop, but that's what I'm going to code. So similarly, we're going to grab a couple of the same blocks. So we want an events block. We want a forever loop. And we are also going to grab another looks block. We're actually going to use the same one as we did before, but there's going to be one. I'll show you that in a second. Forever.
And hey, Ali.
Hi, Ali.
And Santiago and Mommy from Lima, Peru. Welcome. Nice to have
bienvenidos.
you coding with us.
Hola.
Bienvenidos.
All right. We're going to grab the color block. Now, I mentioned light. That's what we're going to be changing here. So whenever you're using scratch blocks, always feel free to explore. And if you see like a down arrow, you can click on it. And that is how I'm going to change the light. I'm going to be modifying the brightness. I'm going to use the brightness effect. So I'm going to connect all of those. And let's go ahead and do variable. And in the project, it calls it light. I'm going to go ahead and call it luz for all my Spanish-speaking friends.
Okay. Nice.
And let's go ahead. We're going to put that in here because, again, that's going to be our variable, which we're going to change. Now, again, we are going to change the slider. And let's see what it looks like first. Okay. So let's run. Ooh, okay. So we can make it really bright.
So much it disappears.
Right, yeah. So then 0 is basically sort of the normal state. So I had the right idea. I want to change the range. I'm also going to make this -100. Let's see how that looks. Ooh, I like that.
Oh, nighttime in our serene scene.
Yeah. Ooh, I like it. I like it. Ooh, looking good.
Ollie's joining us from Iraq where it's 2 a.m. right now. So maybe to make it dark.
So yeah, we can set it up.
Nighttime.
Yeah, make it a little bit more nighttime. Yeah, so it's not as bright.
Ali in Iraq.
Which can be a very relaxing.
Yeah.
Lighting. Okay. So what we've done so far is change the size of a sprite. We have changed the colors, and we've changed the brightness, all using variables. Now, the next part is my favorite part because we're going to add some sound to our project. So we can just stay in our backdrops area, and we're going to grab some similar blocks. Let's go ahead. We're going to grab an events block and a forever loop.
Cool. While you're doing that, hi
Yeah.
to Kevin in Michigan. Welcome. Thanks for being here for Digital Making at Home.
Yes, thanks for joining us. All right. Now I'm going to pick a sound, and this is the sound that's in the project. It's also a relaxing sound to me. We're going to use some rain sounds. Now, I'm not going to assume everyone loves rain sounds. I personally do. I listen
Yeah,
to
they're
rain
pretty
sounds a lot.
relaxing.
Yeah.
It was
So
raining here in Ohio today, and I'm in the attic, and I was hearing the rain on the roof. It was actually rather relaxing.
yeah, it's so, oh, that's actually something I use a lot now. Even I listen to rain sounds before I go to bed. It's very calming for me. Yeah, and then sometimes even during work, I'll mix. This is a like my tip for a good workspace. I have rain sounds playing, and then I also play Whitney Houston, and that's just a magical combination for me, to be honest.
Hey, Josh. No, this is live. We're coding live right now. Thanks for joining us on Facebook.
Yeah. All right. I got so excited about rain sounds. Okay.
Yeah.
We are going to play a sound, and to add, there's a whole sound library. So to get to those, let's go up here on the third tab. We've been in the coding tab. There's the backdrops tab and then sound. So we're going to click on that, and we're going to add a sound to our library. Let's go ahead. I'm going to look, and there's a lot. So I'm going to go ahead and look up rain. Oh, got it. Okay, so now we've got our rain sounds are here. Let's go back to code. And so using the menu, perfect. All right. Now, you'll notice that we haven't used our variable yet. Ooh, it's playing. Can you hear that?
Can't hear. No, I can't
Nope.
hear it.
Okay, well, I'll take out my headphones in a second.
Okay.
So with this, in this case, we've added the sound, but now we actually have to add in the code to control the sound. So let's add, we're going to add in another sort of block, a couple more blocks. We're going to do, yeah, we're going to go ahead and do when green flag is clicked and a forever loop. And actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a trick of mine that you can do especially if we're going to be pulling some of the same blocks. You can always right click, and we're going to duplicate this.
Easy, right?
Yep.
And Larry on YouTube's asking about what other chat sites available. We are broadcasting right now live to YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch, and we're seeing chat messages from all of you, all hundreds of you.
Thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you, Larry, for joining us.
All right, we're going to go to, I don't know why I went to looks. We're in sound. I'm going to go to sound, and we are going to use the set volume, and I need to make a variable. So let's go to variable. Let's go ahead and we're going to make it, we're going to call it rain. And now what we're going to do is similar to before. And now you've gotten the habit of it, right? So you're going to think about how can you add all these neat variables using the slider in your future projects. We're going to change this to slider. And right now it's on 0. So we've got these two programs here to essentially set up so we have rain and actually control them well. So let's run it. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take my headphones out so you can hopefully hear it. Okay, can you hear me, Matt?
Yep, you sound a little different, but we can hear you.
Okay, great. So we're going to run it, and let's see if we can hear some rain sounds.
Very nice.
I'm relaxed already. Oh, that's so nice. Oh, I love it. I love it. Putting my headphones back in.
Okay. Oh, that is wonderful. Wonderful.
Yeah, this is a fun project. So we've got one more thing that we are going to do. You may have noticed it in the background. We have a little cricket that we're going to do some coding with, or a little grasshopper. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a variable, and we're going to create a slider where we can control how fast our grasshopper is moving.
Oh, fun. Okay, great.
So let's go ahead and add one more. We're going to highlight the grasshopper. And again, our code disappeared, but it's not gone. It's just with the specific sprite, or
it's
the
just like out of sight.
Yeah, out of sight.
It's in a different folder. It's over there.
Exactly. Okay. So let's go ahead, since we're in the variable block section, let's go ahead and make our grasshopper. I have no idea what grasshopper is in Spanish, but now I want to know. So I'm going to look it up. If you know what grasshopper is in Spanish, please put it in.
Yes.
Very curious. All right. So first thing we're going to do is similar, because all of our other programs we had the events block. We're going to use the same thing. We're going to have our green flag. And we're going to go ahead and set up our Grasshopper. So we're going to kind of make this sort of 3D. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in the back layer. So behind the other sprites. Oops, sorry, excuse me. And then looks. And switch to go to the back layer. So down here, there it is. All right. And then let's go ahead and grab a forever loop. And let's go ahead and move our Grasshopper and see how that goes. Okay. Let's just see how this code works. Ooh. Okay. Oh, gosh.
Bye.
Peace out. All right.
That's enough of a serene scene for me.
Yeah. Oh man. Okay. Well, we've got some work to do. Ideally, what I want to do is I want my Grasshopper to hop back and forth across the screen.
Okay.
So we've got it where it's moving. So that's step one. We successfully got our Grasshopper to move. So the code, there's a block code that right now the Grasshopper went to the edge of our screen and just kept going. But I want to make it where if it touches the edge, it'll bounce and come back.
Right.
We actually, if you remember, we used this block last week with our butterflies. Yes. So it's an edge. Here it is. I'm going to put that in there. Oh, there we go. Okay.
He's back.
He's back. Okay. He's moving. He's bouncing. He's moving a little fast. So I'm actually going to change this to 5 to make it a little bit slower. Okay. Let's see how he's doing. Okay. Now, something that I love about Scratch, and we saw this last week, and we've seen it in the past with our sprites, is that our sprites, a lot of times, will have different costumes. So up here, earlier we used the sounds tab. When you're on a sprite, there will be a costumes tab. And what that is the different images you might see of your sprite. So in this case, thank you, Scratch, they have a bunch of costumes that you'll see here look like motion. So what we can do is we can set up a block, or we can pull a block that will change the costume. So let's go to looks. All right, next costume. Okay, so we're going to put in this forever loop. We're going to say move 5 steps, next costume, if on edge, bounce.
Cool.
Let's see how we're looking. Oh, okay, yeah, now this is it's looking a lot more like a Grasshopper.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, I love this. Okay, then what we're going to do is, well, actually, I think it's working the way I want it to. Yeah, when he goes and he's turning around and coming back. Nice. Okay.
George is saying that in Spanish, Grasshopper is saltamontes.
Saltamontes. Neat. Oh, I like that. Okay. So let's go to our variable.
Thanks, George.
Thanks, who will name it. Saltamontes. Okay. So we have our saltamontes. Oh, wait, I think I changed the wrong one. Which one did What did I do? Oh, which one is that one?
Flowers. You changed the flowers one.
I changed the flowers. That's the wrong one. That's Flora. All right. I'm going to keep that one flowers. Okay. Then Grasshopper is the one I want to change. Okay. Rename. Now that'll be Saltamontes. Thank you, George.
Thank you, Marina.
Okay, Marina's confirming. Thank you.
Yes.
Facebook, Marina's confirming that it's Saltamontes. Okay, we've got 2 confirmations. So we are using the right one. Okay, so we have our Saltamontes. And what we're going to do here is we're going to right click again. We're going to change this to a slider. And I'm going to change this to, change this to a slider. And something too, it's like these are starting to sort of take up some space. So I'm actually going to move these over. And you can do that, which is great. Yeah, so we can see our little Grasshopper. And then what we're going to do is we're going to actually add a wait block so we can control the speed of our Grasshopper. So let's go to, I think it's, rabbit. Here we are. And we're going to put our Saltamontes variable, our Grasshopper variable here. So, and inside our forever loop. Go grab that. It's such a fun vocabulary word.
Yeah. I'm never going to forget that now.
Exactly right. Yeah. All right. Saltamontes. Okay. So now let's see how that looks.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh. It looks
Okay. So you'll notice something. Okay. Do you see? I'm changing the speed of our grasshopper. But what the thing is, what I'm changing is I'm changing the second.
Seconds, right.
And so it's having the wait. Right now it's at 58 seconds, right?
That's a long time to wait.
Yeah. So versus seconds, we've just moved back down to 0. So it's going to adjust accordingly. So to navigate that, we've done this in the past on doing it at home. We're going to use an operator block because we're going to actually set up a fraction. So let's go to operators,
Right.
and we're going to use this block here. So I'm going to take my saltamonte. Technically, it's one grasshopper, but I was excited, so I put an S. And then we're going to make this a fraction. So
okay, I get it.
Yeah. So that way, it's when I select a number, it'll be 1 out of 100, 58 over 100. So we'll actually be controlling this.
So a tenth of a second or a half a second. Got it? Yeah.
Yep. There we go.
Nice.
Look at that. Yay. So we've got our grasshopper. We have, this is a serene. I miss nature so much. Like that is something I miss the most right now. I just don't live near woods. I live in Nebraska. I live near corn. So I get to walk out. So I saw a beautiful sunset last night. The sunsets in Nebraska are absolutely incredible. But I haven't been to a space like this. So I love this project because it's really helpful just to create a space that maybe you can't be right now. So creating this serene scene is very calming to me. Good. So we have wrapped up with this project, but I just want to show you, if you go to the project site, which is where this project came from, this is the Serene Scene project. So on projects.raspberrypi.org, you can check out all of our projects. We have a huge project library. This one, you'll find it under Scratch. And all of our projects are organized the same way. We're here on the left, we have a table of contents, basically the steps that we go through. So you'll see here, grow a tree, color the flower, set the scene, that was our lighting, add some fauna, that was our grasshopper, saltamonte. And then we also have some challenges. So here, there's a suggestion of adding a dragonfly. So you can go here and see some challenges and some suggestions for what else you can add. So that is our Serene Scene project. Thank you so much for having me, Matt, so we could work on this together.
Thank you so much. And I love how this project really focuses on the concept of variables, right? Yeah. It's about wellness and everything, but you really get the chance to really practice variables and understand that it's about, storing a little bit of data, changing that data, reading that data. That's great. I love that. And I loved having everyone joining us in the chat. Thank you so much to Alex and Ali and Marina and all of you, Josh. It was great to have you all joining us here. Santiago and Mommy, awesome to have you joining us. And so thank you for joining us for this. We really appreciate it. We hope you had a good time. We hope you had fun with us. And that's all that time we have for this week, but don't worry, we have another live stream next week, same time, same place here at rpf.io/home. Again, I want to thank Infosys Foundation USA for making these special shows happen each week. And we're going to have another one next week. So for the parents and teachers joining us, you can explore Infosys Foundation USA's free computing and maker education resources through the Pathfinders Online Institute. That's also where you can see our past recorded sessions as well, if you want to check those out. So head to that URL below to check out the Pathfinders Online Institute. So again, thank you all for being here for Raspberry Pi Foundation's Digital Making at Home live stream. I hope we'll see you all next week. All right. Bye.